بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله فاطر السبع الطباق مقسم الآجال والأرزاق الهادي لأحسن الأخلاق مالك يوم التلاق. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له شهادة ندخرها للحظة الفراق والتفاف الساق بالساق وإلى الله المساق. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله خير من ركب على البراق تمم مكارم الأخلاق صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وكل من اتبع هداه إلى يوم التلاق. أما بعد, to our brothers in Islam and our sisters in Islam, if there is any, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What I'm about to say is not a lecture per se. It's just like a dinner that I'm preparing for you. So this will be the dinner of the day. There is no problem when you get home to eat dinner if you hadn't eaten dinner yet. This dinner prepared here in Al-Minhaal, insha'Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. I pray to Almighty to shower His mercy and blessings unto all of you. Ameen. I will talk for like 10 to 12 and a half minutes. La ilaha illallah. And then after that you get like 10 minutes to ask whatever you want to ask, whether it's about the lecture, it's outside the topic, it's up to you. And the sisters also over there, if they have any question, you can put it in writing, you can write it, send it to us. You can write in Arabic, you can write in English, but don't write in Chinese. So inshallah, I will talk, what I will say or talk about tonight is the way out from adversity. The only way out from adversity, or the way out of adversity, is sacrifice. Meaning, if you want to be delivered from hardship, if you want to be delivered from difficulties, the way out is sacrifice. What that mean? I explain it in a minute. Now when you look in our lives as Muslims, non-Muslims alike, you see people are struggling, especially nowadays. People struggling. Countries are struggling. Middle East in chaos. Europe in chaos. Africa, Ebola is eating the whole spot. Leaders, presidents are crying, subjects are crying, societies are crying, communities are crying. Basically, everybody is crying. Difficulties all over the world. People searching and seeking for way out. Some of us, we don't really get the way to deliver ourselves out of that adversity. So that's why tonight I want to talk about that, insha'Allah ta'ala. The way out, if you want to deliver yourself, or you want to be delivered from hardship and from adversity, is only through sacrifice. A person will say, why is he talking about sacrifice? You remember last week, a day as such, last week a day like this, like Wednesday, today is Tuesday, I'm sorry, Tuesday, right? Last week, Tuesday, we were in Eid, right? Last week, Tuesday, we were in Eid. That's when our Eid ended. You remember last week, we slaughtered, we made our own sacrifice for Allah. We slaughtered our sacrificial animals, didn't we? We slaughtered our sacrificial animals, right? Right now, we're enjoying the meat. You eating? I'm eating some. Our families having good time. You give it to our own neighbors. They having halal party with it. You know, we eating and all that kind of stuff, all from the halal sacrificial animal that we what? We slaughtered. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَكُلُوا مِنْهَا وَأَطْعِمُوا الْبَائِسَ الْفَقِيرِ. In another ayah, فَكُلُوا مِنْهَا وَأَطْعِمُوا الْقَانِعَ وَالْمُعْتَرِ. That eat from it and also provide some meat to the poor and needy. That's what we did. So when we sacrifice for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala using those sacrificial animals, what Muslims supposed to be aware of, know, ponder, cogitate, think deeply about in terms of what we did last week in Eid is the following. And that's what I will talk about, inshallah, in these few minutes that I have before me. As I mentioned earlier, everybody is crying. Either you're crying home, either you're crying outside, either you're crying, overtly, or you're crying covertly. Everybody's struggling. The way out, sacrifice. Now, the day of Eid, when we all came out to slaughter, we did slaughter for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the animal that we slaughtered gave out and gave away its own soul in order for your sacrifice to be accepted. The animal gave up its own soul for your sacrifice to be what? Accepted. So the animal ended up dying. So if the animal had given up its own soul for your sacrifice, for my sacrifice to be accepted, what the animal is teaching us is that if we want our deeds later on to be accepted, we also have to make sure we sacrifice whatever Allah wants us to sacrifice. We have to do it for Allah's pleasure. But here, Allah is not asking us to lose our souls, rather to do something that He wants us to do. When Allah asks you to do something, you do it. Don't do. When Allah asks you or recommend you to do something as a Muslim, you do it as part of rituals. Now we remember the source and the way this originated. You remember Prophet Abraham and his own son, Ismail. Ibrahim was a prophet, Ismail was a prophet. Over 80 years. Above 80, Prophet Ibrahim did not get even a single child. After 80 years, Allah blessed him with a child. When that child came up with strength, comments to help his own father, Allah shown to Prophet Ibrahim in his dream that I want you to slaughter that son, that only son that he had at the time. Slaughter that what? That son. Will you do it if that was you? You will say, mashallah, I do it. You go tell your wife that this is what you saw in your dream. She's going to say, if you don't get away with that stuff, I'm going to slaughter you by Fajr. That's what you slaughtering my son? She's going to send you to Barzakh soon. But when Prophet Ibrahim had that dream, and dreams of prophets are part of revelation and inspiration from Almighty Allah. He said to his wife, our mother, the mother of Prophet Ismail, Hajar, that he had seen in his dream slaughtering his own son. She said to him, if that's what you saw in your dream, I want you to go ahead and execute whatever you were shown in your dream, because I cannot say that I have more mercy and I'm more merciful on our child than you. So if you love him and that's what you've seen in your dream, this is from Allah, go ahead and execute that. He said to the son, this is what I was shown in my dream, I was slaughtering you. The son said to him, Ya abati fa'al ma tu'mar. Oh father, just do whatever you saw in your dream, and whatever you had been commanded in your dream to do with me, go ahead and do it. Allahu Akbar. Say to your son, Muhammad, oh son, I saw in my dream last night I was slaughtering you. He's going to tell you, hell no, not in America, Dad. That's what your son will, not in America. Slaughtering me? How about I do it on you, Dad? So the father said to the son, that's what he saw in a dream. The son is saying to the father, go ahead and execute whatever you were shown in your dream. Ya abati fa'al ma tu'mar. He did not say ya abati fa'al ma ta'mur. There's difference in Arabic between ta'mur and tu'mar. Ta'muru tansibu maf'ulaini. Amma tu'mar thalathata mafa'il. We know in Sibu where he class to plunge into all that. But what I want to say is that he said to his father, do whatever you were shown, even if there's something that you saw in your dream, but you didn't tell me, and you want to do it, go ahead and do it. Satajiduni insha'Allahu min as-sabirin. Soon and insha'Allah, out of Allah's support and help and Allah's aid, I will be among those who exhibit patience. So therefore go ahead and execute whatever you witness in that dream. That's what the son said to the father. So Allah said, فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَ وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينِ. When both of them submitted to Allah, the father surrendered. He loves his son, but he surrendered to Allah's will. The son loves to live. He wanted to be alive, but he doesn't want to die. But since this is from Allah, let's submit. When both of them submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the father tilted his own the face of his son, about to slaughter his own son, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, there and thereupon we called upon Prophet Ibrahim, saying to him, Ya Ibrahim qad saddaqata ar-ru'ya inna kadhalika najzi al-muhsinin. O Prophet Ibrahim, you had fulfilled whatever we showed you in your dream. Whatever we showed you in that dream, you had fulfilled that. Therefore what we want to give you as you sacrifice for our own sake, whatever difficulties that you go through, we will deliver you from that. That became the sunnah for us. When Allah ransomed his own slave, both of them, Prophet Ibrahim and his son Ismail, he ransomed Prophet Ismail, and he sent down the ram to be slaughtered. Instead of Prophet Ismail to be slaughtered, a ram was sent. That became the sunnah for our own Nabi, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, for him to slaughter on the day of Eid, out of what? Allah's thank, because that was his grandfather. If Prophet Ismail was to be slaughtered, only Allah knows what would have happened to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because that was who? Who was Prophet Ismail to our Prophet? That was his grandfather. That's his great-great-grandfather. So our Prophet ﷺ was the grandson of Prophet Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. And through Ismail, that only prophet came. Through Ishaq, the brother of Prophet Ismail, came a lot of prophets from the children of Israel. But from Ismail, only one prophet came, and that was our Nabi. If he was to be slaughtered then, only Allah knows what would have happened to our own prophet. So his grandfather Ismail was ransomed by Allah. That became his sunnah to slaughter on the day of Eid, and thus he legitimized that and he legalized that for his own ummah to slaughter on the day of An-Nahr, so that will teach us lesson of what? Sacrifice. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had allowed his own prophet Ibrahim and also allowed his prophet Ismail both to sacrifice, Ismail willing to sacrifice his own soul, and as a result of that Allah ransomed him. Did Allah ask you to sacrifice your soul? The only thing Allah asks you, Fajr prayer. Is that equivalent to taking your soul? Why is Fajr prayer difficult on Muslims? Dhuhr prayer. Why are we not making Dhuhr prayer on time? No, I'm kind of busy, I have to finish this project because my boss is coming. Well, the boss of your boss and the creator of the entire world is your Lord, who's asking you to offer the Dhuhr on time. Did he ask you to take your soul and sacrifice your own life? No. Asr prayer. You have to sacrifice to do it. That's the time people are busy trying to get off and just sign off and go home. So sacrifice that time for Allah. Maghrib Salah, you get home, your family, she prepares some nice, delicious, delicious or whatever shears food on the table, nice dish, it's smelling. You don't want to come and pray Maghrib, you say, let me sacrifice for Allah and come back later to it. You come and pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is that equivalent to taking and sacrificing your own soul? Absolutely not. When it comes to Isha, people are getting ready to go to bed. You come in the masjid, you pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a sacrifice for Allah. Allah asks you to give zakah. You have to sacrifice because وَتُحِبُّونَ الْمَالَ حُبًّا جَمًّا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لِرَبِّهِ لَكَنُودٌ وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ أي لِحُبِّ الْمَالِ. Khair in Arabic language means good, but in Quran it comes with the meaning of money, wealth. كتب عليكم إذا حضر أحدكم الموت إذا حضر أحدكم الموت إن ترك خيرا. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. Human being lost money, so Allah asks you to pay zakah. You have to sacrifice some of that money. Go to Hajj, you love that $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. You say, let me sacrifice it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fi sabilillah, for the masjid. You see, you know what, my TD Bank, my Wells Fargo, my Wachovia, no sorry, there's no more Wachovia, it's Wells Fargo now. My Wachovia, my Wells Fargo account, you know what I'm saying, my Citizen Bank, I have to make sure, I cannot pull some. But as for those who want to sacrifice for Allah, they remember the lesson of at-tadhiyah, because udhiyah is when you slaughter for Allah. So when you slaughter, it's called in Arabic udhiyah. So what the udhiyah is teaching you and me is at-tadhiyah. The lessons of udhiyah is what? At-tadhiyah. Udhiyah means the sacrificial animal that you slaughter for Allah. Tadhiyah is sacrifice from you to your Lord. So when you slaughter and the meat you're enjoying, probably when you get home tonight, you're going to have some halal good time with it. Remember that what you're eating from that sacrificial animal is teaching you and me the lessons of what? Sacrifice. When we sacrifice for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the problems that is going on today, Ebola today will be eliminated from Africa. Chaos in Middle East will be eliminated. Problems and unprecedented chaos in America will be eliminated. The children that are making a lot of trouble in the street, the problem will be eliminated if we all sacrifice for Allah. So the lessons of udhiyah that you did on the day of Eid, and Eid just passed few days ago, is teaching you and me the lessons of tadhiyah, sacrifice. So whatever you're about to do, somebody will come. Just like, Thomas Jefferson, he once said, there is no single deed, however virtuous, except you will have some people that will pull you in order for you to what? To be lackadaisical in terms of executing that action. This is what he said. He was non-Muslim, but he got it right. Because there is no single good, virtuous act that you would like to do, except somebody will come and tell, no, you don't have to do it. If you don't give masjid no zakah, some people, they have to manage it themselves. Even the masjid, we've been giving a lot of sadaqah. We don't see where the sadaqah going. I've been putting a lot of fisabilillah sadaqah box. I don't know what they're doing with it. All this wasau is from shaitan, alayhi min Allahi la'anat. So as a person that learned from the dars of al-udhiyah, when you sacrifice for Allah, sacrifice something, but not your soul, your money, your time. Give your time for Allah. Learn something from the deen. Don't you, when you were coming, some of you that didn't know that there will be a talk right now after Isha. After Isha, when you saw Sheikh Barhum putting this microphone together, some of you sacrificed your time to sit here. But you did not plan to sit after Isha, because some of you didn't know. I didn't know I will give you lecture tonight. I just came, the brother said, and the sheikh said, if you can throw something after Isha. I said, well, why not? So you did not come purposely to listen. But however, because of sacrifice, you give your time for Allah. This is also part of sacrifice. Because somebody, even he doesn't have nothing to do. I get no time for that. Let me just go turn some channels before I even sleep. That's even better. But you sacrifice your time for Allah. All this part of the lessons of at-tadhiyah. You see, Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ما تحولوا من رعاة للإبل والغنم إلى قادة الدول والأمم إلا بالتضحية. What made Sahaba to be the leaders of the world after being the leaders of sheep and animals? They were the leaders of sheep and animals, goat and camels in desert. But because of tadhiyah, they became the leaders of the world. I will give you an analogy so that I can stop with this. After Sahaba, when Prophet ﷺ died, some Arabs apostated from Islam. They said the deen was given to Muhammad. Sallallahu wasallam ala nabina Muhammad. He is dead, isn't he? They asked one another. He is dead now. Why will we remain as Muslims and the one who came with the deen is dead? Abu Bakr said, no, you better stick to that deen, because the deen that he came to preach is not his deen, that is Allah's deen. Therefore, he had converted the message and he had given it to you. Just take the message from Allah's Prophet and continue in your life with that. If you don't want to take it, I fight you till you come back to Islam. Some of them run away from Arabian Peninsula, and some of them left from Medina, some of them left from Mecca. So Abu Bakr, he erected Al-Ala ibn al-Hadrami to go out and invite the people of Yemen back to Islam. So he left Medina and he took an avenue known as the Avenue of Ad-Dahna. The place, Tariqatul Dahna, is a place where it is known to be like a desert. There is no trees, there is no water, there is no food, nothing absolutely. So he left, Ala ibn al-Hadrami left, and then he took the Sahaba traveling to go invite those who apostated from the deen back to Islam. When they were in the middle of the road, on the middle of the journey, they were taking nap. Non-Muslims came and took all their belongings, their food, their clothes, their shelters, everything, and they ran away with it. And then somebody came and said to Ala ibn al-Hadrami that actually what happened is that those non-Muslims where we were approaching, they came and took our properties and they ran away with it. The only thing they left were the horses, because they took the belongings and they ran away, and they took sea as a records place. So they run. When Ali ibn al-Hadrami woke up, he said to Sahaba, what I want you to do is that I want you to say Ameen after my dua. He said, Ya Alimu, Ya Halimu, Ya Azimu, Inna Abiduka وَفِي سَبِيلِكَ نُقَاتِلُ. Oh Alim, oh Halim, oh Latif. He kept on praising Allah, magnifying Allah's name. We came out for your pleasure, and because of your sake we out. Therefore do not turn us down. Then he said to Sahaba and those tabi'een behind him, Ajizu ala ismillah. I'm about to penetrate the sea. I want you to follow me with your horses. And they started running on the top of the water, on the top of the water, till they reached those non-Muslims. They took their belongings and they started running away back again with their belongings on the surface of the water. Afif ibn al-Mundhir, he looked at the bottom and then he saw that actually the horses are not being sunk. The horses are not going deep and deep. The horses are running on the top. Right there he said the following: Alam tara anna Allah dhallala bahrahu wa anzala bil kuffari ihda al jalaili da'awna ila falq al bihari faja'ana bi a'jaba min falq al bihari al awaili. He said, haven't you seen how Almighty Allah subjugated the water and he made the water subservient to his slaves? And he also made non-Muslims to be, the records of non-Muslims ended up back to Muslims' hand. And then he said, what we ask Allah is that we ask Allah to just split the water for us to penetrate like he did to Prophet Musa. But he even did to us that which he did not do to Prophet Musa and for Prophet Musa. Because Prophet Musa, the water split it into two, but they themselves, when they were running, the water did not split. And that became a miraculous verse and potent for that people. This Imam Ibn Kathir, he mentioned it in Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, and he said that this Ala ibn al-Hadrami, he was one of the Sahaba min mujabi da'wah, and he was one of those who used to also document wahi for our Nabi salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. So the way out, if you want to be delivered from hardship, through sacrifice. You're in hardship, you and your family, you cannot fathom, you cannot think, you don't know what is going on, you cannot fathom what is going on around you. You're trying to discover, is there anything wrong? Always, if you see hardship in your life, hardship in your family, hardship in your community, hardship in your society, try to figure out what's going on. Maybe there's something that you did not do for Allah. Sacrifice for Allah, He will deliver you and you will be rescued, inshallah. I will stop here, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Is there any question? If there is none, I make dua so that you can have good time with your dinner. Prepared in al-menhaal. and I put some little halal, mashallah, mashed potato on the side of it, and you can get whatever you want to get on the top of it, inshallah. You can ketchup it up and dress it up and take it from Minhaal to your home and have nice dinner with your family that didn't come. Share it with them as a dinner from Al-Minhaal with a lot of ketchup on the side. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.